As the best man revealed the photos of Nicole and Juliet embracing passionately behind the church, the wedding guests erupted in whispers and gasps, and Nicole's mother collapsed in tears, shouting that her daughter had ruined the family name forever with her unnatural love. No one could have predicted that this moment of public humiliation would push Nicole to silently withdraw the millions in sponsorships that kept her family's restaurant chain afloat, sending them into immediate financial freefall. The cathedral in downtown San Francisco seemed to shrink around Nicole Thompson as every eye locked onto her. The photos flashed on the projector screen meant for the couple's love story slideshow, stolen shots from a private moment she thought was safe. Juliet's hand had been in hers, their foreheads touching, the kind of quiet intimacy that had sustained Nicole through 2 years of hiding. Now it was broadcast like evidence of a crime. Her sister Emily, the bride, stood frozen in her white lace gown, veil trembling. "Nicole, how could you?" Emily whispered, but the microphone caught it and amplified the betrayal across the pews. Nicole's father, Victor, rose from the front row, his face a mask of fury. "This is your sister's day. You chose this lifestyle to destroy us." The words landed like punches. Guests shifted uncomfortably, some clutching pearls, others already pulling out phones to capture the spectacle. Nicole felt her chest cave in. She had spent years building her tech startup into a multimillion-dollar success, quietly funneling sponsorship money into Victor's struggling restaurant empire, the very chain that funded this lavish wedding. Every loan payment, every supplier invoice, every expansion had her name behind it, but she had never asked for credit. She had only wanted acceptance. Her mother, Linda, sobbed louder. "We raised you right. This is what you do to us. Bring that woman here." She pointed straight at Juliet, who stood 3 rows back in a simple black dress, her dark curls framing a face that had once made Nicole believe love could conquer anything. Juliet's eyes met Nicole's across the chaos, steady, loving, but helpless as security moved to block her from approaching. Nicole's throat tightened. She had rehearsed a maid of honor toast about family bonds, but now the only bond shattering was hers. The priest tried to intervene, mumbling about forgiveness, but the damage was irreversible. Whispers turned to murmurs. "Disgrace. How long has this been going on?" Poor Emily. Nicole didn't cry out or defend herself. She simply stepped down from the altar, smoothed her dress, and walked out the side door without a word. The cool California afternoon air hit her like a slap. Behind her, the ceremony continued in awkward silence, but she knew the real storm was just beginning. In the parking lot, she sat in her Tesla, hands shaking on the wheel. The humiliation burned, not just the exposure, but the realization that her family's love had always come with conditions. She had sacrificed her truth for their approval, pouring her earnings into their dreams while burying her own. Juliet texted, "I'm here. Whatever you need." But Nicole didn't reply yet. Instead, she opened her banking app. One transfer after another. The monthly sponsorship wires to Thompson Restaurants LLC. She selected them all. Cancel. Confirm. The screen flashed transactions reversed. Millions redirected back to her accounts in seconds. No explanation. No drama. Just quiet precision. By the time she reached her apartment in Nob Hill, the first calls started. Emily's new husband, confused and angry. Then Victor. Nicole let them ring. She poured a glass of wine, stared at the city lights, and felt the weight of years lift even as guilt clawed at her chest. Was this revenge? Or survival? The inner voice that had whispered, "Be the good daughter," for so long now screamed that she had paid enough. Juliet arrived an hour later, slipping in without knocking. They didn't speak at first. Juliet simply held her, and for the first time in public view of her own mind, Nicole allowed herself to feel the full depth of what she had lost, and what she might gain. The sponsorship cancellation was already processing. Tomorrow, the family would wake to empty accounts and unpaid bills. Tonight, Nicole allowed herself one small, defiant breath. The price of silence had finally become too high. Nicole woke to a barrage of voicemails that painted her as the villain of her own family saga. "You did this on purpose," her mother screamed in the first message. "After everything we've given you." The second was from Emily, voice cracking. "The caterers are threatening to walk if the final payment doesn't clear. Nicole, fix this." By the third call from Victor, cold and calculated, Nicole knew the fallout had begun. She had spent the night replaying the cathedral scene, dissecting every glance, every whisper. The prejudice wasn't new. It had simmered in family dinners where gay was joked about as a phase, where her single status was celebrated as focused on career. But seeing it weaponized at Emily's wedding cracked something permanent inside her. She met Juliet for coffee at a quiet cafe overlooking the bay. Juliet's hand rested on hers openly now. No more hiding in shadows. "You don't owe them your soul," Juliet said softly, her photographer's eye catching the exhaustion in Nicole's face. "You've carried their weight for years. Let them feel it." Nicole nodded, but the moral tangle twisted deeper. Was canceling the sponsorships fair? The restaurants employed dozens of people, cousins, longtime staff, who had nothing to do with the humiliation. Yet every dollar had been hers, earned through sleepless nights building algorithms while they criticized her choices from afar. The logic held. Conditional love deserved conditional support. Still, the guilt gnawed. Back at her loft office, Nicole watched the notifications roll in. The bank confirmed all reversals. Thompson Restaurant's line of credit, the one she had personally guaranteed, now flagged overdue. Suppliers emailed demands. The wedding venue followed up on the outstanding balance. She didn't respond. Instead, she drafted a single internal memo to her own finance team. All external sponsorships terminated effective immediately. No further discussion. Her assistant, loyal and discreet, simply replied with a thumbs-up emoji. The first confrontation came that afternoon. Victor stormed into her building lobby, security barely holding him back. "You think this is a game? Your sister's marriage starts in debt because of your selfishness." Nicole met him in the conference room. Calm on the surface, storm inside. "Selfishness? I funded the entire wedding, Dad. I funded the expansions. I funded the loans when the chain nearly folded last year. All while you told me my life was a disappointment." He slammed a fist on the table. "This is about that woman. You chose her over blood." The words echoed the cathedral's venom. Nicole felt the old pressure rise. The immigrant parents' dream of perfect American success, straight marriage, grandchildren. But she had awakened to the cost. Her authenticity traded for their approval. "Blood doesn't mean ownership," she replied. "I'm done paying for your version of family." He left threatening lawsuits, disownment, everything. Nicole sat alone afterward, staring at old photos on her phone. Childhood trips, Emily's graduation, all moments where she smiled while hiding pieces of herself. Juliet called later, voice steady. "They're painting you as the monster online already." Some cousin posted the photos. Social media had exploded. Hashtags mixing family drama with homophobic slurs. Nicole's inner conflict peaked. Part of her wanted to wire the money back, smooth it over, attend the reception as if nothing happened. The other part, the one forged in that public shaming, knew that returning the funds would only reinforce the cage. She chose the latter. That night, as Juliet cooked dinner in her kitchen, Nicole whispered, "I don't regret it. But God, it hurts." The decision's weight settled heavier than expected. The family group chat turned into a battlefield by morning. Accusations flew. Betrayal, ingratitude. Even suggestions that Nicole had planned the exposure to ruin Emily's day. Linda forwarded articles on family values, demanding Nicole come to her senses. Emily posted a vague story about toxic influences that everyone knew targeted Juliet. Nicole read them all without replying, each message sharpening the knife of isolation. She had expected anger. She hadn't braced for the isolation that followed. Old friends from church ghosting her, business associates suddenly busy. The social prejudice she had feared for years now wrapped around her like fog. Juliet suggested therapy, but Nicole refused. "I need to feel this," she said. "Every cut." Instead, she dove into work, finalizing a new product launch that ironically boosted her company's valuation. The irony stung. Her success, built on the very money now withheld, highlighted how little the family had contributed beyond pressure. A lunch meeting with her lawyer confirmed the sponsorships were ironclad. No legal recourse for Victor without proving fraud, which didn't exist. "You're within your rights," the lawyer said. "But morally," he trailed off. Nicole finished the sentence in her head. morally gray at best. The turning point came midweek when Emily showed up at Nicole's door unannounced, eyes swollen. The bank called about the venue deposit. We're going to lose everything if you don't reverse it. They sat on the couch, the same one where Nicole and Juliet had shared their first kiss 2 years ago. Emily's voice broke. I knew about you and Juliet. I saw the way you looked at her at Christmas. I just never said anything because Mom and Dad. Nicole's heart twisted. You knew and still let them humiliate me? Emily looked away. I was scared. The wedding was planned. I thought after we could talk. The betrayal cut deeper than the cathedral scene. Here was her own sister, the one she had funded without question, choosing silence over solidarity. Nicole stood pacing. You let them call me unnatural, in front of 200 people. And now you want me to fix your mess. Emily reached for her hand, but Nicole pulled back. I love you, Em. But love isn't a one-way street anymore. The confrontation escalated as Emily accused her of selfishness, of using money as a weapon. Nicole countered with years of erased identity. The fake dates, the suppressed tears, the promotions celebrated while her truth stayed locked away. Juliet arrived midway, standing quietly by the door. Emily glared. This is because of her. The room charged with old prejudices. Nicole felt the moral dilemma crystallize. Protect her sister or protect herself. She chose the latter. The sponsorship stay cancelled. Figure it out. Emily left in tears, slamming the door. That evening, Nicole and Juliet walked the Golden Gate Bridge, wind whipping their hair. Was I too harsh? Nicole asked. Juliet squeezed her hand. You were honest. They never gave you that courtesy. Yet doubt lingered. The family's restaurants teetered. Employees texted her directly, unaware of the full story. Nicole's inner awakening grew. The price of truth wasn't just money. It was relationships fracturing beyond repair. She slept fitfully, dreams mixing cathedral gasps with ledger balances dropping to zero. Social media turned vicious by week's end. Anonymous accounts, clearly relatives, posted old family photos with captions questioning Nicole's values. A local news blog picked up the story as wedding drama. Heiress cuts ties over secret romance. Nicole's inbox flooded with interview requests and hate mail. The pressure mounted from every side. Board members at her company worried about reputation. Juliet's freelance gigs dried up from guilt by association. Yet amid the storm, something shifted inside Nicole. For the first time, she saw the prejudice not as her burden, but as their limitation. Victor scheduled a family emergency meeting at the flagship restaurant, the one Nicole had helped redesign with her sponsorship dollars. She arrived with Juliet at her side, a deliberate choice. The room smelled of garlic and regret. Linda cried on cue. We only wanted the best for you. Victor laid out spreadsheets showing impending bankruptcy. 50 jobs, Nicole. Your cousins. Think about that. Emily sat silent, eyes down. Nicole listened, heart pounding. The inner conflict raged. The data was real. People would suffer. But so had she, years of therapy-level suppression, forced smiles at holidays, the constant fear of discovery. I thought about it, she said evenly. Every night since the wedding. And I realized I've been thinking about everyone but me. Juliet spoke for the first time. Nicole didn't create this debt. She carried it. The room erupted. Accusations flew. Juliet as the manipulator, Nicole as the traitor. A cousin revealed he had tipped off the best man with the photos, claiming for the family's sake. The betrayal layered on. Even extended family had conspired. Nicole's voice stayed steady. You exposed me to shame me into compliance. It backfired. She detailed every quiet transfer, every overlooked sacrifice. The moral line blurred further. Was her cancellation punishment or consequence? Victor offered a deal. Reinstate funds, attend counseling, fix her orientation. The suggestion ignited her. There's nothing to fix. Only acceptance. She left before they could respond. Juliet's arm around her waist. Outside, rain slicked the streets. They'll never change, Nicole whispered. Juliet kissed her forehead. But you have. Back home, Nicole reviewed the company's books. Her startup thrived. The family's chain spiraled. Guilt mixed with empowerment. She wired a small anonymous donation to the employee's severance fund. Enough to soften the blow without reopening the sponsorships. It wasn't forgiveness. It was balance. The decision's weight lightened slightly. For the first time, she posted a photo with Juliet publicly. A simple beach walk, caption choosing me. The likes poured in from strangers. The family silence spoke louder. The chain's first location closed 2 weeks later. Headlines read, Thompson Restaurant's faces collapse amid family feud. Nicole watched from her office, screen reflecting her conflicted face. Employees posted please. Some blamed her directly. The social cost escalated. Old high school friends unfollowed. A former mentor called to express disappointment. Juliet stayed constant, editing photos late into nights, reminding Nicole of the woman she had fought for. This isn't just about money, Juliet said one evening. It's about the version of you they wanted versus the one you are. Nicole nodded, but the awakenings came in waves. Therapy sessions she finally started revealed years of internalized shame. Family dinners replayed as subtle rejections. A surprise visit from Emily shifted the ground again. This time alone, no demands. The wedding was beautiful until it wasn't, Emily admitted. I should have stood up for you. Tears followed, genuine regret. Nicole listened, walls cracking. Why didn't you? Emily's answer cut deep. Fear of losing parental approval, the same fear Nicole had carried. They talked for hours, shared memories, hidden struggles. For a moment, reconciliation seemed possible. But when Emily asked for a loan to save the last restaurant, Nicole paused. I can't. Not yet. The refusal stung Emily, reigniting old tensions. You're still punishing us. Nicole shook her head. I'm protecting me. There's a difference. Victor escalated legally, frivolous suits claiming undue influence. Nicole's lawyers dismantled them in days. The public narrative flipped slightly as allies leaked the full sponsorship history. Supportive messages trickled in. Other queer professionals sharing similar stories. Nicole's inner dialogue evolved from guilt to clarity. She had traded her happiness for their stability long enough. The confrontation climax built as the family gathered one final time at a neutral park. Accusations met facts. Linda admitted the humiliation was over the line. Victor refused to apologize fully. Emily stood torn between sides. Juliet remained Nicole's anchor, silent witness to the unraveling. As the sun set over the bay, Nicole delivered her truth. I loved you all enough to hide. You loved me only if I stayed hidden. The sentence hung, heavy with finality. No money changed hands. No hug sealed peace. But something fractured open, awareness on both sides. Nicole drove home with Juliet. Hand in hand, the city's lights blurring through tears of release. The price had been paid. Relationships strained, business lost, reputation scarred. Yet she stood taller, awakened. Months later, the dust settled into uneasy quiet. Thompson Restaurants restructured under new investors, jobs mostly saved. Nicole's company hit record valuations, her public coming out inspiring a charity initiative for LGBTQ youth in immigrant families. She and Juliet moved in together, their relationship no longer secret but celebrated in small circles. Emily sent occasional texts, tentative bridges. Victor maintained distance, pride unbroken. Linda visited once. Awkward coffee where apologies lingered unsaid. Nicole accepted the partial peace for what it was. Progress born from pain. Reflecting in her new home office, Nicole scrolled old wedding photos, the ones before the exposure. The humiliation had been the catalyst, the cancellation the consequence. Every decision carried weight. The quiet revenge that protected her truth while costing others stability. Family pressure had forged her resilience. Social prejudice had tested her limits. Moral dilemmas had forced her growth. Betrayals from those closest revealed conditional love's fragility. Yet through it all, Juliet's steady presence proved one truth held. Authentic love demanded authentic choices. Nicole closed the laptop, turning to Juliet on the balcony. The city hummed below, indifferent to their story. She had paid the price, financial, emotional, relational, and emerged clearer. The family survived, scarred but standing. She survived stronger. The question that echoed in quiet moments remained unanswered by outsiders, but resolved in her heart. Was Nicole right to destroy the financial safety net her family depended on after they publicly humiliated her for loving Juliet? Or did her choice cross an unforgivable line into selfishness that no amount of personal awakening could justify?